Howdy folks, it is Diecastbuffet here again, and we got 15 different winners. With 3 races to go to the playoffs, Kevin Harvick ends the winless streak and wins at Michigan. This season has been incredible, guys. And I don't want to say it, but it could be his final career win. We have no idea. He could win 10 more races, but you don't want to miss out on his first ever Gen 7 race win diecast. Make sure to pre-order that down below at Circle Diecast, and you can use the promo code Diecastbuffet, and you can save on shipping for any orders $30 or more. As we know, next-gen diecasts are already here, so keep them coming on that. I already got mine pre-ordered, so I highly recommend you do so as well. Wow, man, Michigan. I have not seen a Michigan race this good since the late Gen 5 or possibly early Gen 6. I'm telling you, man, every week we go to these super high-speed racetracks. Gen 7 is perfect. It is perfect. I mean, this was the quintessential Michigan race. It had strategy. You had some pretty good-sized wrecks as well. There was actually damaged race cars running on the track, which is something like, it's just almost unheard of at most of these racetracks. Usually they just pull it in the garage and say, screw it. No, you saw cars out there that looked like they'd been in a fender bender on a huge racetrack, which was just retro as itself. Kevin Harvick getting it done at Michigan. And I mean, it could have been the 23 car. Bubba Wallace qualified on pole, had a fantastic race car all day. He finished second. But, I mean, they were one restart away from the 23 car possibly winning that race. Eric Jones showed up again. They have real speed at the big tracks. The Talladegas, the Fontanas, the Poconos. I'm telling you, man. The old school Michigan is here. And this is what I've been talking about the Gen 7 car, guys. Every time we go to these 1.5 miles of these super speedways or whatever it may be, the racing is incredible. And it's really bittersweet. We go to Pocono. The racing's unbelievable. Only have one race. Go to Dover. Racing's unbelievable. I know it's a smaller track. Only one race. And then you go to Michigan. Only one race. But the racing is incredible. If you, for the better part of a decade, has said Michigan sucks, it's boring, nothing ever happens, no one can pass, the racing is mundane, that was the complete opposite of today's Michigan race. I'm telling you, if you missed it, you missed a really good show. And you start thinking about the playoff implications. Truex. I know my good buddy OBP is a big Truex fan. Oh, man, Truex, as of right now, is under the cut line. And it looks like either Blaney or Truex, one of these two cats, are not going to make the playoffs as of right now, unless they both win and somehow Mickey Mouse, Austin Cindric are someone out of the playoffs. You never know. But wow. I mean, the thing that Truex could be out of the playoffs, a guy who's a quintessential championship contender every year, a 2017 champion himself, could be out of the playoffs is just astronomical. But for Kevin Harvick, he was like, what, 100-something points out? And Blaney went from like 120 to the good, maybe 100 points, give or take. It's like 20 points to the good with 3 races to go. And those 3 races are Richmond, which is a Toyota Fan Fest. So don't be surprised Martin Truex Jr. shows up and just flat out whips the field. You never know. And then Blaney is on the outside looking in, going to Watkins Glen and Daytona. He did win Daytona last year. But I'm telling you, this is incredible, man. In terms of the whole Nextel Cup or the playoff era or the chase for the Cup era, this is probably the craziest season we've ever had. 15 different winners. I believe it's through 23 races. That is unheard of. I mean, the most parity we've ever seen in the modern era of the NASCAR, the Cup Series. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. We have never seen this amount of parity in the sport. And it's not just at the wild card tracks. It's at the 1.5 miles. It's at these, super speedways. It's Daytona. It's Talladega. It's the road course. It's a combination of everything, just giving us so many different winners. And for Kevin Harvick, this is such a clutch win. He probably will win a couple more races, no doubt about it. He's probably going to race at least one more year. But you never know, right? You never know when their final win's going to come. If you're a Kevin Harvick fan right now, soak it in. Just crazy stuff. His car was so good at the end of the race. He wasn't great early on, but as the race went on, he got faster and faster and faster. You can say the same thing about Ryan Blaney. Not perfect, but as the race went on, the Ford slowly started to come to the top. And I tell you what, man, They really turned it around. Only 4 wins thus far through the Gen 7 inaugural season, and with Kevin Harvick getting this win, I mean, it's just, this is such a huge deal for that whole Stewart-Haas Racing team, especially when, Cole Custer and Chase Briscoe. I mean, I like both of the drivers, but let's be honest, they're a complete hit or miss half the time. That whole team as a whole does not have the speed. I know Briscoe won Phoenix earlier this year, but let's be honest, he hasn't done much of anything since then besides crashing at the 600 and then, of course, the Dirt Bristol incident. And then you have Eric Almirola, who's had flashes of really good speed, but unfortunately that is tapered off. He got, caught up in an early accident with Kyle Busch and Cindric and company. But no doubt about it, man. Stewart-Haas Racing, they finally had clean pit stops, a super fast race car, and they got the track position. Tire wear was not a big factor in this race. It was getting out in that clean air and getting it done. But what made this Michigan race so special is the passing. You could go from 10th, you could work your way up to 5th in a long green flag run, dive bombs, side drafts. It was just so much fun. I can't remember the last time we saw Michigan racing this competitive. Because Michigan it's a gigantic racetrack, long green flag runs, and usually you have a guy that's 7 seconds ahead of second place, and nothing happens, right? They're just pretty much filling airtime the entire, quarter of a race, so to speak. This was not that event. There was a lot of strategy. You had some cautions mixed into there. And the lead changes, man. I love to see it. Different guys leading throughout the race. There was a portion that looked like Ross Chastain had this race in the bag. Chastain could go from like 15th to the top 3 in a fuel run, which it seemed like no one else besides Denny Hamlin could truly do that. And Chastain, they got put down a lap. That was my pick to win this race. But man, it was a really, really good race. I got to be honest with you. For a number of years, especially 2020. 2020's Michigan races were absolutely awful. I'll throw in 2021. It was cool seeing Larson lead a lot of laps. It was cool seeing Blaney win, but it is an absolute far cry from the good Michigan racing of old. And wow, what a fun race. I'm really excited for it. You got Richmond coming up. I'll be honest with you, Richmond is not my cup of tea. I believe it's the worst short track on the schedule, in my honest opinion. Not that there's a horrible short track, but Richmond statistically just does not produce that great of racing, and we saw that in the early Gen 7 race there. It's just Richmond. It's flat tracks. The drivers are not aggressive enough. Hopefully they'll be aggressive this go around. Hopefully we'll get a Chastain versus Hamlin round 10. Who knows? But yeah, make sure to pre-order that 124 race win diecast. I don't think they'll be making a 164 scale. Who knows? They might not even be making the clean version of it. They might offer it. I don't know. It was the Busch Light Apple paint scheme, and to my knowledge, this is the final year they're going to be running that car. So it's pretty cool. He swept Michigan in 2020 with that Busch Apple L car. And now he wins again. So that's 3 of his Michigan wins came in the Busch Light Apple L car. That's going to be something Kevin Harvick fans are going to remember for quite some time. So I'll make sure to get those diecasts if they offer them. Or that diecast, really, the race win one or the clean version. But wow, what a fun race, guys. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to give it a huge thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. 3 races to go for the playoffs. Richmond, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. Anybody could get in the playoffs. I mean, there's 15 spots already locked in with 3 races. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be a wild card winner. Ryan Blaney, I mean, is borderline a championship contender each year. Mark Truex Jr., a former Cup champion. If he just goes to Richmond, takes care of business, you got 16 guys who will be sweating bullets going to a track like Watkins Glen. Could you imagine if we had 16 winners and they went to Daytona? Oh, that would be gnarly. Thank you all again for watching. Have a great one. And Kevin Harvick, man, got it done and gets a 6th win at Michigan. Thank you all again for watching. Have a great one, everybody. Diecastbuffet. Signing off.